When it comes to youth volleyball, it is so easy to get caught up in the drills, the rotations, the score. But the truly great coaches, they know it's about so much more. It's about having a cohesive philosophy. So today, we're going to dig into what it takes to build not just a winning team, but well-rounded people. We're going to find the why behind every single thing we do. Let's jump in.
I mean, you can't start a conversation like this without this quote from the legend himself, Marv Dunphy. He just hits the nail on the head. Volleyball isn't a sport for solo acts. It's a game of connection, of teamwork. You can't freelance it. And that's really the big idea we're going to keep coming back to. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about why this is all beyond the game. Then we'll get into the coach's compass, which is your guiding philosophy. The big one is section 3, building the complete athlete. After that, we'll see how to turn those athletes from players to a team. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by looking at the spirit of competition in a whole new light. All right, first things first, let's talk about the big why. I mean, why are we really out there? Why do these kids show up to practice every week? Because this court, it's so much more than just a place to play. It's a classroom for life. Carrie Walsh Jennings, one of the greatest to ever do it, said it perfectly. Think about it. The shanked passes, the tough 5-set losses, the grueling conditioning drills, that's where the real magic happens. We're not just teaching a kid how to serve. We're handing them the tools to face adversity, to get back up, to build a kind of character that's going to stick with them long after their volleyball career's over. So, if that's our goal, how do we actually guide them there? Well, it all comes back to your philosophy, your coach's compass. This is your true north. It's the thing that quietly dictates every single decision you make, from how you structure a drill to who you put in the game. Okay, and before we even get to the X's and O's, check this out. This comes from Volleyball Canada, and it outlines our core responsibilities. And what's so telling is the order. Look at this. The first 4, count them, 4, are all about safety. Physical safety, mental safety, emotional safety, social safety. That is the absolute foundation. Only after all of that is locked in do we even start talking about volleyball skills and long-term development. And that foundation leads to a choice every coach has to make. You're looking at 2 very different paths here. On the left, that's the short-term mindset. It's all about winning that 12U national title right now. It's about specializing early and focusing only on the outcome. But then you look to the right. That's the long-term vision. It's about fostering a deep love for the game, encouraging kids to play multiple sports, and building someone who will be active for life. So the question is, which path are you paving for your athletes? And that brings us to the heart of this whole thing, building the complete athlete. And no, this isn't just about how to pass or set. This is a bigger, more holistic model, and it's built on 3 pillars that all have to work together. Now, get ready for this, because this chart from Volleyball Canada might just flip your whole perspective. We spend so much time on the athlete and the player, right? The skills, the strength, but look at the breakdown. They're only 30% each. The biggest slice of the pie, a whopping 40%, is the person. Isn't that something? It's a huge reminder that who these kids are off the court is the absolute bedrock of who they can become on it. So, how do you coach the person? Simple, you get to know them. A worksheet like this is a perfect example. What do they love about school? What are they scared of? Who do they look up to? When you take the time to understand the human being, you earn the right to coach the athlete and the player. It's all about that trust. Okay, pillar number 2, the athlete. This is the engine room. And in volleyball, that engine starts from the ground up. We're talking about footwork and body control. This is the foundation of everything. Every pass, every attack, every defensive move. You have to be balanced, stable, and explosive, especially when you're making those critical, low-to-the-ground plays. So how do we build that engine? Let's break it down into 4 key ideas. Number 1, train at game-like speed. We need that explosive first step, those quick, multi-directional movements. 2, emphasize suppleness. This is more than just stretching. It's about having the core strength and mobility to get low, safely, and powerfully. 3, and this is so critical for preventing injuries, master landing. We teach athletes to land softly and balanced on 2 feet so they're ready for the next play. And finally, number 4, ensure full recovery. You can't get faster if you're tired. Quality reps with real rest in between are what build true athleticism. And that brings us to our final pillar, the player. We've coached the person, we've built the athlete. Now it's time to sharpen the volleyball mind. Because, let's be honest, the most important skill in volleyball isn't how hard you hit. It's how well you can see the game unfold before it happens. It's all about your ability to read and anticipate. So how do we teach that? Dunphy gives us the answer again. You can't learn to read a wicked topspin serve by just passing back and forth with a partner. You have to create game-like chaos in practice. The best drill is always pass set hit or dig set hit. Anything that forces players to read a real ball coming over the net and make a decision in a split second. That's how you build game intelligence.
Okay, so we put all this work into developing the individual, the person, the athlete, and the player. Now for the really tricky part. How do we take all those individuals and forge them into one single, unbreakable team?
It has to start with this mentality, right here. It's about a shared identity. It's not my bad, it's our bad. We rise together and we fall together. When someone makes an amazing play, we all made it. When someone makes a mistake, we all own it. That's what creates that powerful bond of collective responsibility. And building that isn't some accident, it's completely intentional. As a coach, you're the one who sets the tone. You build trust by leading by example. Your actions have to scream louder than your words. And you encourage real empathy, creating a culture where a high five after a bad pass is automatic and where teammates actually genuinely care about each other as people. All right, so we've built the person, the athlete, and the team. Now it's finally time to go compete. But to do it the right way, we might need to totally rethink what competition is actually for in youth sports. Now, this number might be one of the most important things we talk about today, 70-30. The Coaching Association of Canada recommends that for developing athletes, 70% of their time should be in training, and only 30% should be in competition. I know. That probably sounds backwards to a lot of people, but think about it. You don't build skills in the middle of a chaotic tournament. You build them day in and day out in practice. The competition, that's just the final exam. It's not the classroom. And really, this is what it all boils down to. Our success as a coach isn't about how many trophies are in the case. The true measure of our success is how many kids sign up again next year. The ultimate win is creating an environment that's so fun, so engaging, and so positive that every single player can't wait to come back. That's how you create a lifelong passion for this sport. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. When that final whistle blows and the season is over, what are your players going to remember? Will they remember the wins and losses? Or will they remember the feeling of being part of something bigger than themselves? What will be their reason for coming back? Answering that, that's the whole game. Thanks for listening.